Blake Lively is in complete meltdown mode, and Hollywood is watching every second of it. The once beloved actress has found herself at the center of a career-ending scandal. And after The Hollywood Reporter exposed her in brutal fashion, there's no coming back from this. But here's the real question. Is she the victim or the mastermind of a Hollywood power play gone horribly wrong? The Hollywood Reporter just did what no one else dared to do. They called out Blake Lively in the most savage way possible. On February 22nd, their latest cover sent shockwaves through Hollywood, featuring an illustration of Blake Lively aiming a slingshot at Justin Baldoni, as if we've suddenly been transported back to medieval times. It was a clear metaphor. Blake was launching an all-out attack on Baldoni, and now the media was firing back. And let's just say, her team did not take it well. Within hours, Lively's PR machine went into full panic mode, blasting the cover as sexist and dangerous, claiming it played into harmful stereotypes about women who speak out. But here's the thing, was it really sexist? Or was it just an accurate representation of how her lawsuit is crumbling in real time? Because while Blake was busy crying foul, everyone else was reading between the lines. The Hollywood Reporter wasn't just taking artistic liberties, it was sending a message. This wasn't just another lawsuit. It was a strategic takedown of Baldoni, one that Lively's team had been carefully orchestrating for months. And now, the narrative was slipping through her fingers. Instead of doubling down on her accusations or presenting hard evidence, Blake's camp made the worst mistake possible. They played the victim card without backing it up. Her PR team released a dramatic statement, saying the illustration was deeply offensive and part of a wider trend of diminishing women who stand up against workplace misconduct. But here's where things get really awkward. If the cover was the biggest issue, then maybe, just maybe, her actual case wasn't as strong as she wanted us to believe, and the internet wasn't buying it. Instead of rallying behind her, Twitter exploded with memes and sarcastic takes, dragging Lively for crumbling over a cartoon instead of fighting her battle with actual receipts. One viral post even joked, "Girl, if a drawing is your biggest problem, maybe you don't have a case." The more she tried to spin the narrative, the more people turned on her. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni was playing the long game. While Lively's team was screaming outrage, Baldoni's lawyers were sitting back, gathering receipts and preparing for a legal war. Unlike Blake, he wasn't giving emotional press statements. He was quietly letting the facts speak for themselves. And spoiler alert, those facts were not in Blake's favor. So what exactly is Blake Lively hiding? And how did this one cover image expose the massive cracks in her entire case? Buckle up, because things are about to get even messier. If Blake Lively thought she had this case under control, she was dead wrong. What was supposed to be a groundbreaking Me Too lawsuit is now crumbling at lightning speed. And it's all thanks to one major mistake. She deleted key text messages from her legal filings. Yep, you heard that right. The very texts that were supposed to back up her claims suddenly vanished when she updated her lawsuit. And if that doesn't scream damage control, I don't know what does. Let's break this down. In her original complaint, Blake's team included text exchanges that supposedly proved Baldoni's inappropriate behavior on set. But when she quietly submitted an amended lawsuit, those exact texts were nowhere to be found. Why? Well, because context is everything. And Baldoni's lawyers had the full messages that told a very different story. Instead of showing a harassing, manipulative director, the texts painted a picture of normal interactions between two coworkers. No misconduct, no inappropriate comments, just Blake cherry-picking messages to fit her narrative. And when she realized that Baldoni's team had the receipts, she did the only thing she could. She tried to erase the evidence. But here's the real kicker. It didn't work. Justin Baldoni's legal team was 2 steps ahead, and they exposed everything. They presented the full, unedited messages, proving that Blake had been manipulating the story from day one. Suddenly, her credibility wasn't just shaky. It was in complete freefall. And it gets worse. In a desperate attempt to regain control, Blake's lawyers issued a subpoena for Baldoni's phone records, hoping to find something, anything that could save her case. But in yet another brutal L, a federal judge ruled that the subpoena was overly intrusive and completely unnecessary. That's legal talk for stop fishing for evidence that doesn't exist. At this point, it's clear Blake's case is falling apart in real time. Every move she makes backfires spectacularly. And the more she tries to control the story, the more the media exposes the cracks in her accusations. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni isn't just fighting back, he's going for the jugular. And trust me, he's not playing around. Not only is he denying every allegation, but he's also hitting back with a $650 million counter lawsuit for defamation and reputational damage. And guess what? His legal team is stacked with some of the most aggressive lawyers in Hollywood. So here's the million-dollar question. Did Blake Lively make the worst mistake of her career? Because right now, it's looking like her entire case is built on sand. And as each day passes, It's sinking faster and faster. But hold up, because things get even messier when you find out how Blake Lively allegedly sabotaged her own movie. Trust me, you're gonna want to hear this next part. If you thought this legal battle was messy, wait until you hear how Blake Lively may have sabotaged her own movie in a last-ditch effort to control the narrative. What started as a major career opportunity for her spiraled into total chaos behind the scenes. And now, insiders are coming forward with jaw-dropping claims about her power moves on set. According to multiple sources, Lively didn't just star in It Ends With Us. She tried to take over the entire production. Reports say she was constantly butting heads with director Justin Baldoni, demanding script changes, interfering with the editing process, and even attempting to override creative decisions that had already been made. And get this, she allegedly went behind Baldoni's back, using her executive producer title to push him out of key decisions. But why? Well, some say Blake was never happy with how the film was being handled and wanted complete creative control. Others believe this was a calculated move to create a hostile work environment narrative, one she could later use in her lawsuit. And let's not forget that her husband, Ryan Reynolds, was directly involved in marketing the film through his company, Maximum Effort. Coincidence? Or was this part of a bigger plan? Then there's the issue of Justin Baldoni's Baha'i faith, which, let's be real, became a major talking point in this case. On set, Baldoni was reportedly open about his religion and some of his behavior, like offering emotional support. Group prayers and physical warmth, like hug, was misinterpreted as inappropriate. But here's where it gets interesting. Multiple cast and crew members say they had no issue with his behavior, and that it was Blake who made it a problem. Think about it. Was this really about harassment? Or was it about a major cultural misunderstanding blown completely out of proportion? Even The Hollywood Reporter pointed out that this wasn't just a Me Too case. It was about a fundamental clash between two different perspectives. And here's where things get really insane. Because instead of focusing on her performance, Blake Lively was allegedly obsessed with controlling the final cut of the movie. She demanded reshoots, tried to rewrite key moments, and refused to film certain scenes as originally scripted. At one point, insiders claim she even threatened to walk unless her changes were implemented. And let's be honest, if the goal was to make Justin Baldoni look like the bad guy, it completely backfired. Instead of winning public sympathy, Blake's behavior on set painted her as the real problem, someone who is desperate to control the project and its narrative. And if that wasn't bad enough, it looks like the internet is catching on fast, because social media is not on her side anymore. The backlash is real, and Blake Lively is getting dragged like never before. Want proof? Just wait until you hear how Twitter turned this scandal into one giant joke. Blake Lively may have Hollywood connections, but not even her A-list status could protect her from the internet's wrath. What started as a carefully crafted Me Too-style case has completely backfired, and social media has turned her lawsuit into one giant meme. The public isn't just skeptical anymore. They're outright mocking her. At first, people rallied behind Blake, thinking this was another case of a powerful woman standing up against a toxic workplace. But then, the cracks in her story started showing: the deleted text messages, the failed subpoena, and the insider leaks about her power moves on set. And just like that, public opinion flipped overnight. Now, Twitter and TikTok are flooded with memes roasting Blake's dramatic claims. One viral post even joked, "Blake Lively just found out that deleting text messages doesn't delete them from the other person's phone. Someone help her." Another compared her lawsuit to a bad soap opera, saying, "Blake's lawsuit has more plot twists than an actual Hollywood movie. Too bad the audience isn't buying it." And then came the savage memes. People started reposting screenshots of the Hollywood Reporter cover with captions like, "Blake Lively really thought a slingshot would save her from all these receipts. It's relentless." Social media doesn't just think she's lying. They think she's desperately trying to control the story before Justin Baldoni's legal team drops even more evidence. And speaking of celebrities weighing in, guess who just entered the chat? Chelsea Handler, famous for her outspoken feminist views, didn't exactly rush to Blake's defense. Instead, she publicly mocked both sides, saying, "This is the messiest Hollywood fight I've ever seen. At this point, they should just shut up and drop a documentary." Yikes. When even feminists aren't jumping to support you, you know something's seriously wrong. But the biggest sign that Blake is panicking? She just brought in a former CIA crisis manager to run her PR campaign. Yep, a literal government-level crisis fixer is now trying to clean up her mess. The question is, why does she need a national security expert for a workplace lawsuit? It's clear. Blake is losing control of the narrative, and the public isn't buying what she's selling. But this legal battle is far from over, because Blake just made another desperate move. And this one could change everything. Instead of backing down, she's doubling down. adding even more vague accusations to her lawsuit, hoping something sticks. But will this gamble save her career or destroy it forever? Let's talk about what's coming next in this wild legal battle. If you thought Blake Lively was about to cut her losses and walk away, think again. Because instead of stepping back, she's going all in. In a last-ditch effort to salvage her case, Blake's legal team has quietly expanded the lawsuit, throwing in even more vague accusations against Justin Baldoni. But here's the problem. None of them come with actual proof. Instead of presenting new evidence, her lawyers are now doubling down on the hostile work environment angle, claiming that other women on set were also uncomfortable. Sounds serious, right? Well, not exactly. Because when you dig deeper, you realize there's zero specifics. No names, no incidents, just a vague claim that someone, somewhere, felt uncomfortable. And that's where things start falling apart. Again, legal experts are already calling out the lawsuit for being weak, saying it's built on smoke and mirrors instead of actual misconduct. And Justin Baldoni's team, they see right through it. While Blake is adding more fluff to her case, Baldoni is making aggressive legal moves. His $650 million counter lawsuit isn't just for show. He's going after defamation, career damage, and even emotional distress. His lawyers are bringing in high-powered character witnesses, people who worked on the set and saw everything firsthand. And their statements? Not looking good for Blake. Even worse for her, there's a wild card in this legal battle, Jenny Slate. Reports are circulating that Jenny filed an HR complaint against Baldoni. But here's the thing, no one actually knows what it says. Is she backing Blake's claims? Or is this a completely separate issue that Blake's team is exploiting for their case? If Jenny actually had dirt on Baldoni, wouldn't Blake's lawyers be using it already? That's not all. Blake just suffered another legal blow. A judge rejected her request for Baldoni's private phone records, ruling that it was an invasion of privacy and had no relevance to her claims. Translation: the court isn't buying the wild fishing expedition she's on. And now we have the biggest development of all. Neither side has agreed to mediation, meaning this isn't getting settled quietly. This case is going to trial in March 2026, and trust me, the courtroom showdown is going to be explosive. So what does this mean for Blake Lively? If she loses this case, her reputation in Hollywood could be permanently damaged. Directors and studios are already watching closely. And if it turns out that her lawsuit was more PR stunt than reality, she could find herself blacklisted. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni is playing the long game, confident that the truth is on his side. And so far, the facts seem to be proving him right. So what do you think? Is Blake Lively fighting for justice? Or is she just trying to rewrite history to save face? Sound off in the comments below. And if you want to stay on top of this scandal, make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay tuned, because we'll be covering every major twist in this Hollywood train wreck.